I really just did a 10-minute recording and then just none of it saved. I hate my life. But anyway, the reason I haven't really made a big video on this Tory Lanez, really anything to do with this situation, at least I don't think I have, is because it's been constantly changing. There's been tons of new ingredients into the stew, into the pot, and new spoons are turning it all the time. New angles, new stories, new perspectives, new just everything. And all that someone like me, who is really just a fan of the music, I love Tory Lanez's music, but him as a person, he's always shown that he is aggressive. You know what I mean? The whole pressing Travis Scott on the bus, the whole getting in an argument with Megan in the first place, even if you didn't shoot her, shows you're at least a little bit aggressive. You know what I mean? The whole, whenever he pressed, I believe it was Dax on a video saying like, "Hey, or else," you know what I mean? Like, because I don't remember exactly what they were arguing about, but I feel like if anger is your go-to conclusion, your go-to fix to the problem, or confrontation is your solution, then that means you are a naturally aggressive person. You know what I mean? Chris Brown, same way. I mean, he literally slapped Rihanna. That made headlines. But even just besides that, literally he was just in a rap beef because he just kind of sparked it, at least for no real reason. You know what I mean? Just kind of dissed the Migos, or Quavo in specific. No reason why. Who else is Chris Brown beat up on? Frank Ocean, his manager. He had a confrontation with Drake before they made No Guidance a long time ago, I'm pretty sure, when they were both younger. Obviously, when they were both younger, but Chris Brown is still... He just got arrested not that long ago, did he not? Did Chris Brown not recently get arrested in Miami? I think he did. As I'm recording this, I think as of like a week ago this happened. This might have happened a few days ago. Anyway. Did he do it? I don't know. I think everyone needs to realize that no one particularly knows. Should he maybe have got arrested let me reword myself. Should he maybe be in jail when literally every person had a different story and no one really knows exactly what happened? I don't really think so. I think this case should definitely still be ongoing, and maybe they shouldn't have came to a conclusion so fast. But now that he is arrested, I don't really see what changing the perspective or changing the narrative is going to do, because Tory's camp was basically trying to say she stepped on a piece of glass and that someone else shot the gun. It wasn't Tory. There was a gun shot, but not at her foot, I believe is what they were saying. Megan and her friend both had different stories. Tory and the guard had a different story. The driver had a different story. Basically, if you put them all in a room together, they couldn't figure it out. You know what I mean? Which is literally what happened in the courtroom. They couldn't figure it out. Which is always kind of strange to me, because this seems like something that there would be some sort of similarity on. The only real somewhat close narrative that there was, or story, is that Tory and the drivers was somewhat close. Not really, but kind of. They both also said that that Megan was, there was a gun shot off, but it wasn't at Megan. It was just kind of in the air, I believe. But they couldn't even use the gun because there was so much DNA on it. So many people had touched it. It was kaput. They couldn't use it because, you can't deduce anything when everyone and their grandma touched the gun. So it's just kind of a strange situation. So all I can really do is watch how other people react to it and how other people digest that information and what they do with it. Which some people do, they have the perspective if he did it, then he should be in there. If he didn't, then he shouldn't. You know what I mean? And it just, all you can really do is watch and realize that what you say and what you think isn't going to change anything. If Tory Lanez gets on stream and he's like, "Yo, Megan, show me the gun wound," that's not going to change anything. Tory Lanez making this petition, or not Tory Lanez, Drake making the petition and how many ever people signing it, it's not going to change anything. He's locked up, and none of this is, all you're doing is just speaking your opinion, which you do it. Obviously, I can't stop you from speaking your opinion, but stop acting like it's going to change anything. I do think a little bit, maybe not necessarily racism, but is rooted in sexism. And because she's a woman, because she's a woman rapper, I do think if it was a dude, the situation would be a little different. Maybe they would still be angry, but they wouldn't say some of the things that they do. You know what I mean? What was something else I was going to say? I don't think it's because he's like a famous African American. I don't think that has anything to do with it in this situation. If you're Tory Lanez and you managed to get in the situation that you was in with Megan, with Kylie, with the driver, with Megan's friend, and you were in this situation, you had to have done something, like multiple things wrong to get there, and it is somewhat your fault, and you have no one to blame but yourself. Do I kind of like, as a fan of music, the only reason I would want him out is so he can make better music, because the music we have been getting from him, besides his, has either been from jail or he's been dropping music every single Friday out of his vault. And you can tell a lot of them are unfinished because like how long they are, you can tell there's supposed to be another verse or like another hook or something like that. I keep burping. But a lot of that really, doesn't matter to me per se, because as a fan of the music, I'm just enjoying the fact we're getting music from Tory. I like Tory's music. A lot of these, I ain't gonna lie, a lot of these ain't good, but like these newer songs, these unreleased songs, you can tell they're unfinished. You can tell they're in the vault for a reason. He's gonna come out to a bag, though. He really will. All the money I'm sure he's made from all these songs, he's gonna come out to a bag. You know what I mean? He's gonna come out to, I think the color violet wasn't as popular as it was now whenever he went to jail, so he'll come out to that. All the sales from this new album, I mean, this new album didn't do bad per se. He's still gonna do good. And I don't know. So many people's reactions is just acting like as if every little piece of evidence, every little piece that comes out drastically changes what happened. People don't realize that it is a story. There's a reason they are saying it, and that reason does not have to be because it's true. The new piece of evidence that recently came out, that is the reason I'm kind of like stirred the pot, is because I think his name was Kenneth, the guard, I believe he was, came out and said that he was the one that shot Megan Thee Stallion. And the reason he didn't say that is because he was trying to protect her. So they have shifted the narrative from her stepping on a piece of glass to the guard shot her. But you need to ask yourself, what does this change? Does this immediately get Tory out of prison? Does this get Tory out of prison at all? Does this take a step towards him getting out of prison? No, it doesn't. It does not, actually, at all, really, because, again, it is his narrative, it's his perspective, it's his word against a whole courtrooms, it's his word against how many other people that have a different story, you know what I mean? And if you said it to help Megan, why say it now? Why say it when Tory's been in jail for a hot minute and save it till now to say it? You know what I'm saying? And how much better does this make Megan look than the whole cutting glass story? You could just stuck with that. You know what I mean? That is the type of stuff you have to ask yourself. These people, they act like just because they're fans of Tory means that Tory and his camp always have the best intentions, always speak the truth. That's the worst kind of fans that I don't like seeing. Not everything these guys say is truthful. Not everything these guys say is for the benefit of others. They're just saying it to help get Tory out. That's what I believe, and that's, I feel like, the most reasonable thing, most rational thing to assume in this situation. I'm not saying that to hate on Tory. I'm not saying that because I don't want Tory out. I'm just saying that because that's just what it most likely is. You know, that's kind of the facts here. But also recently, Tory Lanez was stabbed a bunch in jail. And I don't think that is actually, I don't think that's false. I do think that actually happened because, like, Tory isn't the one that came out and said it, or, like, one of his pages isn't, like, none of his managers said that was, like, reported, like, officially. Like, that dead ass happened. He was stabbed 17 times. He had both of his lungs collapse, but he is alive. He is alive. I'm pretty sure I seen something that he is getting relocated, which is good. He absolutely should be. I don't think anything warrants being stabbed 17 times. That's just not cool. I don't think that was cool at all. And I'm not saying any of this because I believe that actually should have happened. I don't think that was false either. Do I think that it is a coincidence that this stabbing coincides a little bit afterwards? They were like, yeah, we got to change the narrative. No, that's not a coincidence whatsoever. He got stabbed and they seen opportunity. that's what their job is to do. That's like lawyers and stuff. Not even his lawyer, like his manager. That's their job. They probably seen that. That was like, this is a perfect opportunity to have all the hearts on Tory, all the eyes on Tory, and that's what they did. They changed the narrative, and you can't look at stuff like that and just say it's not just say it's a coincidence. You can't do that, because do you really think that how do you explain stuff like that in the music industry, in the Hollywood industry, in any industry? Stuff like that is not a coincidence. Coinciding events like that it's just not a coincidence. Alone at Prom still goated though.